pass the hell out. Uh, this is ethics. A patient refuses a blood transfusion due to religious beliefs. What would you say to them? I'd say, Jehovah's Witness. Uh, the nurse respects the decision. Which principle is upheld? Autonomy, justice, fidelity, beneficence. The urge to do good? No. Yeah, the urge to do good. Promises, fairness, letting the patient do what they want. This is letting the patient do what they want. The answer is autonomy. A nurse discloses patient information without consent to an unauthorized person. Which principle is violated? Fidelity, confidentiality, veracity, autonomy, confidentiality, HIPAA. A nurse keeps a promise to return with pain medication in 10 minutes. Which principle is this? Justice, fidelity, non-maleficence, autonomy. That's fidelity. Your promise. You're keeping your promises. A nurse refuses to administer a placebo ordered without patient consent. This primarily reflects autonomy, veracity, fidelity, non-maleficence. Okay. This one's kind of a tricky one. Letting the patient do what they want. Telling, keeping promises. No, telling the truth. Keeping promises. Or doing no wrong. What is the answer? I'm pretty sure it's. I actually don't know. Is it this one? What is this? Is it fidelity? Oh, yeah, okay. I was right. It's the bottom one. I got so tripped up over that. No, I'm not. It is doing no harm. So I guess it's harmful to the patient because you're not being honest with them. A nurse tells the patient the truth about the medication error. What ethical principle is this? We know this one. We did this in the last one. This is telling the truth. My brain's starting to hurt. I've been doing this too long. Which provision of the ANA Code of Ethics emphasizes advocacy for patients? This is the only one that I know. It's provision 3. I don't know the other ones. So please, Jesus, Dad, my grandma, and my uncle, let this be the question that's on the test tomorrow. The main purpose of the ANA Code of Ethics is to provide legal immunity for nurses, serve as a framework for ethical decision-making and professional conduct, establish possible policy, replace the Nurse Practice Act. Obviously, it's the long one, serve as a framework for ethical decision-making and professional conduct. Which best defines moral distress? Knowing the right action, but being constrained from taking it, deliberately deceiving a patient, allocating resources fairly, avoiding harm. Avoiding harm, that's benefits. Allocating resources fairly is justice. Deliberately deceiving a patient is being an asshole. And knowing the right action, but being constrained from taking it is moral distress. That is, I want to give the blood to the Jehovah's Witness, but they won't do it. They're using their autonomy to be a fucking idiot. Uh, when a nurse includes a patient in care planning, respects their input, which principle is demonstrated? A nurse includes the patient in planning and respects their input. The patient is involved in their care. That's autonomy, making their own choices. A nurse refuses to participate in an action they believe is unsafe for the patient. This demonstrates ethical courage. I mean, it's literally self-explanatory. Okay, select all apply. We're going true or false. Which of the following are core ethical principles in nursing? Autonomy, true or false? True. Justice, true or false? True. Beneficence, true or false? True. Profitability, False. Non-maleficence. True. So the answers are autonomy, justice, beneficence, and non-maleficence. Same thing, select all apply. Which example demonstrates fidelity in nursing? Fidelity. What is fidelity? That's right, keeping promises. Returning with pain meds as promised. As promised. True. Keeping information confidential. True. Reporting an error truthfully. Truthfully. True. Following through on patient requests when possible. True. Pretty sure. Is it really all three? It is. The nurse experiences a conflict between the following provider orders. The nurse experiences conflict between following provider orders and advocating for patient safety. This situation is known as fidelity, justice, moral distress, or veracity. Conflict between following orders and advocating for the patient. Moral distress. Providing equal attention to two patients who differ socioeconomic backgrounds reflect which principle? Beneficence, justice, autonomy, veracity. Obviously, justice, that's fairness. A nurse ensures fairness in allocating limited resources like ventilators during crisis, applies which of the following principles? That's a weird one. But I guess it's justice again. I just don't understand why we have two of them in the same. Okay, whatever. Okay, now we got communication. During the orientation phase of the nurse-patient interview, the nurse should orientation. What's the first step? Establish trust and explain the purpose of the interview. Explore the patient's feelings and concerns. Summarize progress in preparation for termination. Provide patient teachings. What is the first thing you should do? Probably explain why you're interviewing this person, and maybe they'll trust you. I'm not gonna, this is a judgment-free zone. Tell me what you gotta tell me. You know, I'm not a very trusting, established person. If you could tell, I don't actually know how you do that. Which statements are examples of non-therapeutic communication? True or false, select all that apply. Don't worry, everything will be fine. Is that non-therapeutic? True. Why did you do that? That's not therapeutic. I'll stay with you while you talk about this. That's pretty therapeutic. You shouldn't feel that way. Non-therapeutic. But I feel like it could be depending on how you say it, you know? Or like what the context is. Be like, I'm gonna fucking kill myself because like I'm such a piece of shit and I don't deserve to live. You shouldn't feel that way. I would the therapeutic be, well, tell me why you're experiencing those feelings. And let's explore this further. Is that therapeutic? Yeah. That's probably the response to someone being like, I'm a piece of shit and I should just die or whatever. During a patient interview, the nurse restates the patient's words to ensure accuracy. This is clarification, reflection, summarizing, leading. To ensure accuracy. Accuracy. Clarification. I'm pretty sure. Yes. See? Restate for accuracy, summarizing, condense the main points. What nurse statement demonstrates therapeutic communication for a patient who is crying? Don't cry. You'll upset your family. Why are you crying? You shouldn't be sad. I can see that you are upset. I'm here to listen if you want to talk. You need to stop crying and calm down. See, I see that you're upset. It's basically talk like a robot kind of thing. A patient who speaks limited English requires discharge instructions. The nurse should ask a family member to translate, use professional medical interpreter, speak loudly and slowly in English, write instructions in English, and hand them over. Well, If they can't speak English, I'm sure that they can't read it. If they can't speak English, I'm sure that talking really loud and slow would help them understand. Family member to translate, they say, you say, how much pain are you in right now? Scale of 1 to 10. They say, cinco. And the family says, he says an 8. No, bitch. I took Spanish in college. Cinco means 5. So obviously the answer is use a professional medical interpreter. When communicating with a patient who is hearing impaired, nurse should, speak loudly and exaggerate lip movements, use clear, simple sentences, face the patient, shout while standing behind the patient, assume they can read lips without asking. Obviously, use clear, simple sentences, face the patient. Select all that apply. Which are therapeutic communication techniques? Active listening, true or false? True. Clarification, true or false? True. False reassurance, true or false? True. No, not true. False. Sorry, I'm reading text. False reassurance is false. That is not right. That is not therapeutic. That was my bad. Open-ended questions, false. Nope. True. True or false is what I'm trying to say. It's true. Silence, true or false? True. The answer is active listening, clarification, open-ended questions, and silence. Which communication strategy best enhances nurse-patient trust? Ignoring emotional cues, consistently following through on promises, asking closed-ended questions, giving advice instead of listening. I am so bad at that. I am such a talker. Consistently following through on promises. This is like which one of these people are you not gonna like? And which one would you like? The nurse says everything will be fine, don't worry. This is an example of therapeutic communication, offering false reassurance, clarification, active listening. Clearly, the answer is offering false reassurance. What are you gonna tell the freaking cancer patient on hospice? Everything's gonna be fine, don't worry, you're gonna be okay. A nurse remains silent while a patient reflects, then gently asks, would you like to share what you were thinking? This demonstrates false reassurance, therapeutic silence, minimizing feelings, confrontation. Okay. In the real world, the test would probably not have 3 obviously wrong answers. This one you'd probably get a little tripped up on because they talk. The biggest section of this is the nurse remains silent. Then they talk. But they have remained silent already. This is therapeutic silence. The termination phase of the interview includes discussing the patient's concerns and details, building rapport, summarizing progress, and discussing follow-up, had a burp, gathering initial patient data. C, summarizing progress, discussing follow-up. The nurse statement is, which nurse statement is non-therapeutic? I'm putting chapstick on. Tell me more about how you're feeling. You shouldn't feel angry about this situation. It sounds like you're worried about the surgery. What has this experience been like for you? I mean, come on. We're not stupid. A nurse asks, you're not feeling anxious, are you? This is an example of a open-ended question, leading question, clarification, or summarizing. Clearly, a leading question. Are you having any chest pain right now? Are you feeling anxious? Has your big toe ever hurt before? I mean, come on. Which type of question is most appropriate for eliciting information? Detailed information, closed-ended questions, open-ended questions, leading questions, rhetorical questions. Obviously, open-ended questions. Tell me what brings you in today. I hope Zach fails this test. I was just thinking about that. Remember when he asked in freaking class that dumbass open-ended question and it just wasn't open-ended at all? Or it was leading. That's what it was. A nurse leans forward, maintaining eye contact and nods while the patient is speaking. This behavior demonstrates aggressive communication, passive listening, active listening, non-therapeutic silence. Well, it's not aggressive. Passive, I mean, are you engaged in the conversation or not? I think that you are. Non-therapeutic, clearly it's active listening. How do I stop this?